secret. Oh.
I think I got it, yes?
Yeah.
So just huge gratitude. This video is really important because one is showing how advocacy happens on many platforms. And NUFDI, as being part of the advisory council along with Maryam, we recognize the value of our voice, of community, and I am here as we close this memorial section before the film section to remind us of all the ways that we can stand in solidarity. And in a day, in a week that is a memorial, we also have to look at how do we go forward. What's happening in 3 days, right, is significant, and there's many ways to show up in solidarity. And I'm a huge advocate of the arts, as you can imagine. So you can put up the slideshow and just do the first slide, and I will then move forward from there. So as we reflect on this last year, we all had an image, a song, something, an object that we held on to. That was our amulet of change. It's what was our battle cry. Some of us printed it, some of us wore it, some of us displayed it on our social media. But it was these objects, these images are the way that we show our solidarity. It's really important what we are upholding as the image of this revolution, evolution. And I want to give gratitude to the museums, to the galleries, to the parks all over the world, and I'm going to highlight some of them, that showed the solidarity to Iran, that they were not Iranians. There were so many that were not Iranians that were saying this is an important call to action that we need to rise up for. So art is being used and will continue to be used and has been used historically as a catalyst of change, and it will also be the archive of this time. And in a free Iran, there will be a museum that will document this, and we will never forget this history. And the artists are the documenters, are the archivists. So you can go to the first slide. And this is just showing that we all understand that without social media, without Instagram, without media, and huge gratitude to Women in Power Media for putting this on, to NUFDI and Maryam and Femicide, because without these resources, this would have not been able to come up. But what is Instagram? It's a visual communication. You have 8 to 10 seconds to communicate a feeling or a message. And art and graphic art especially, was the main art tool. That's why that exhibit, Iran Rising, was based on graphic artists from all over the world. So this is not the new one I gave. Do you have the new slideshow I gave? No? It's okay. We're gonna stay. No problem. So you want to go back one more? Yeah, I said. So from the mundane to the iconic, Mahsa became an icon. The mundane, taking the mundane objects like a playing card and turning it into an object that captures this. And I'm going to talk about the Gisu Boron in a moment. You can continue. And I want to just lean on taking images of this country. If you remember the image of this was a major image of World War II calling women into action. We can do it. And this is now, it's captured during a pandemic and then bringing Zen, Zindagi Azadi into it. So we're leaning on feminist practices of this country, around the world, and bringing it into this call to action. And then this, leaning back even into the Shahnameh as we've done, but do you all remember that first major protest with the fire? How many of you just have that etched in your mind? The fire and the women throwing their hijab and that woman standing on the car, and I can never talk about it without crying because I was like, that's it, they're reclaiming, it has begun. That image that you see, this is etched in our DNA forever. And these are just two juxtapositions of bringing this voice forward. You can continue. This is another powerful project, and we have one of the artists, Aphrodite Desiree Nabab, who was part of creating and organizing this on Eyes in Iran. The website still exists, and it was done specifically because there was something happening at the UN, and it's on the website, it's spoken to, but it's done at the park, at the Four Freedom State Park, and it was facing the UN in order to make the UN accountable for the decisions that they're making that takes Iran and its leaders into perspective. This had multiple artists that were a part of it, and did anyone see it who was here?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm highlighting this because I hope in 3 days there is something artistic and visual happening that is showing the solidarity of where we stand. So that's my little call to action. Okay, you can keep going to the next one. And then I want to just highlight that this Gisu Boran, this is not something new. This goes back to the Shahnameh, that when it was Siavash, when he was killed, his wife and his children cut their hair to show they were against injustice. So just like Dr. Susanna Badia talked about at the very beginning, these aren't things that are being invented. These are things that are in our DNA that we are reclaiming. We have ways of speaking out against injustice. This is thousands of year old practice. And then to see it in the EU, to see it demonstrated all over the world, and this is the exhibit that was in the museum in Italy. That was just for fun. It was a box, and it was just helping people show solidarity to the people of Iran by cutting their hair. And it was just a box, but it was so profound. And this is, I just don't want to ever underestimate the power of advocacy through the arts and how it spreads throughout the world. Okay, you can continue. And this is just a statement that I want to help us remember, that as we are using arts to be a voice, we also have a lot of healing. Why are we affected is because there's something in us, we understand this story, and some of you, we were standing here and Navi John was just sharing how he was in prison 3 times. And it is in people, so many people are here as expatriates that have the physical resonance of this violence. And so the art is also incredibly transforming and healing and necessary for collective trauma in this sense of what Susan also calls cultural regeneration. So I have a couple lenses, and one of them is I'm a yoga therapist, and through this trauma lens, I just want to encourage you all to not just protest, but create things of beauty, create things of joy that speak about our pain and suffering. Make it visible, bring it out, so that we are also healing ourselves as we bring forth a new Iran, that we're not carrying these bags of hurt and pain with us, but we're entering with joy and with possibility for all, not just in Iran, but in the world. And I think I have one more. So this one, we have this image in the back, and I had Maryam organize this beautiful Zoom with Dr. Babak Nia, and it was so inspired. And this is a work that my father had painted many, many years ago. He always wanted to do a series on the Attar version, which is the mystical version of the story of Seymour. And so we thought today, why not create something? Are you all up for it?
Yes.
Yes. And we have these gold feathers, and Eileen John here, amazing artist as well, is going to be out on the table. We'll put out the feathers, and there's pens, and you're going to glue it to this piece. Then I want you to first just take a moment, put all your things down for a moment. You don't have to close your eyes, but just take a moment and visualize this. If you had to burn this feather, What is the specific healing that you would want to bring for Iran, for the people, for the land? And really visualize it. Bring it into your embodied sense of presence. Breathe it in. And then we're going to invite you to take this feather on the back, write on it what you want to transform, and place it on that object. And you can do it during lunch when we end this beautiful event. Thank you so much. And I just want to kind of wrap it up as Dr. Susanna Badian invited us. I think your last statement was about inviting us to begin to write a new epic. To together, never ever, don't listen to those naysayers, never ever limit the potential of change. Because we never imagined there was a Mahsa Amini. We never imagined this would be the Mahsa Amini of the many Mahsa Aminis. We never imagined, as we come closer with so many of these protests, of these uprisings, that then we have this very powerful symbol. So you don't know what it's going, you don't know, none of us know. But we know it's going to happen. I just want to caution you. Be fueled from love. Be fueled from love for Iran, for its women, for its land, for its people, for its children, and not from hate. Be fueled from love, and all things will transpire. Creative action, collective work, and progress. We will enter this new, free, beloved Iran for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So